Yo, people. It's your boy YB out here. Can everyone hear, man? Can everybody hear, man? See what that's popping. Let's get this clean KO on the screen. Clean. That's working nicely. Let's have a look at this then. We're gonna break it down as well. Let's get the KO on the screen first though. This Gorman dude, man. This punch from Dubois was actually it reminded me of Wilder. It reminded me of a bit of a hybrid between Wilder and Triple G's last KO. It was a bit of a looper. It wasn't a straight right hand. It was a looping right hand. These kind of right hands, you can get a lot of power on them. Get devastating power because he proper spins his whole body into it. Around the world. Watch this. Around the world KO. Yep. Proper all that power. Ah. In fact, I'm not even sure I hit him on the head. But either way, he spun it over the top. It reminded me of, you know, when people play tennis and you talk about getting topspin on it. Daniel Dubois got a whole load of topspin on it. Whipped it over. He threw it and then he dinged it over the top. Gorman didn't know a thing about it. He didn't know a thing about it. Not even one thing about it did he know. Yeah, it was a dangerous Daniel Triple D spot, man. Let's have a look at Triple D spot again. Triple D spot, here we go. Whoop. Big jab. That's the thing about DDD. He's got a big stiff jab, but it is a big stiff jab in it. There's no doubling it up. It's not very. It's just big and thundering. Here we go. Massive. Watch out. Watch he gets proper. He swings it right in. Yeah. Right over the top. Didn't know anything about it, did he, Gorman? And to be fair, the reason Gorman got caught with it was because he was pulling back all night. Gorman was pulling back and throwing this looping ass left hook. It was never landing. God knows why he kept throwing it. And that's how we got caught here. Because Daniel Dubois not only timed him, but when you get into the fight, he was reading him. And he set him up for this. He timed him perfectly. He knew what Gorman was going to do. Watch how Gorman gets caught back, pulling back. Gets caught right on the comeback. Watch. Gorman pulls back and then right over the top. Dings it over. Didn't know anything about it. Poor Gorman. Anyway. Didn't check it's on the screen. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Can everyone hear me anyway? See if it's working. Cameron Noah in the building. What's popping? Knows why he kept throwing it, and that's how we got caught. Natty D in the building. What's popping? Anyway, let's crack on with it. I'm gonna get on with my assuming everyone can hear me, let's get on with what's going on. D in the building, what's popping? 509 Matt in the building, what's popping? What's going on? Let's get on with the analysis anyway. So we've just seen Triple D spot KO Nathan Gorman. I've written a lot of notes actually because this fight was quite a pivotal fight. This fight had I learned a lot of information from this fight. And the first thing was, let me give respect to Gorman because I got to give him credit. He did fight. He came to fight. He didn't give up. He didn't quit. I think it was the second or third round he got put down. In fact, let's bring that up now. He got put down and I thought from that point, he could have easily jacked during that part, but he didn't. He carried on fighting, to his credit. Here we go. Triple D stuck it on him. Let's have a look. Big. Daniel Dubois' jab was going all night as well. And that's something I want to talk about. At the end of this video, we're going to talk about how this applies to AJ as well. Because there were some long-ranging implications. Big jab from Triple D. Left hook. Right hand. Right hook. Got caught on top of the temple. Put him off balance. And from this point, to be fair to Gorman, he could have took his way out, but he didn't. So I've got to give him credit for that. However, that there, in my opinion, is the start and the end of the credit for Gorman, because it was a very, very extremely poor performance from Gorman. Let's talk about Gorman to start with. In reality, what did Gorman do in this fight? Seriously, what did he do? And I've seen Gorman on the pads. Gorman looks amazing on the pads. He's throwing, he's tripling it up, he's moving his feet, he's slipping, he's sliding. Was there any slipping and sliding? In this fight, Gorman, going into the fight, Gorman talked about, oh yeah, I'm gonna slip and slide, and Daniel Dubois is too stiff and he doesn't have any lateral movement. Did you see it? Did anyone see any lateral movement in this fight? And the way this fight was being billed, everyone was talking about, oh yeah, Nathan Gorman's gonna do a Fury job. Nathan Gorman's going to pull a Fury and slip and slide. Was there any slipping and sliding? In fact, was there any footwork from Gorman? I didn't see any. His feet were as flat as you like. They were completely stuck to the floor. There was no pivoting. There was no nothing. He looked like he looked useless in there. He did. And I've got to be honest, I've never actually watched Gorman before. So I don't know what he looks like before. All I've seen was the comments before the fight. All the Gorman fans and all the Fury fans talking about, oh yeah, he's gonna box Gorman's head, Dubois' head off and whatnot. There was none of that though. No slipping, no sliding, no anything from him. Very poor. What was his game plan? There was no jab. There was literally nothing in there. The only thing he did consistently was pull back and throw this big looping left hook, which never landed, by the way. Very disappointing from Gorman. People, arguably, you could say, did Gorman jack? No. What I think happened was with Gorman, it seems he got hit, and that's what happens in my little experience. You can get shut down by people. When someone's throwing shots and they're hurting you, you can go into safety mode, i.e., let me put my chin on my chest and just try and stay alive and just try and not get stopped. And that completely shuts your offense down. Because all you're thinking about is, let me keep my body safe. Ouch, that body shot hurt. I don't want that again. You know what? I'm going to keep my elbows in, aka, because when you've got your elbows in tight to your body, you can't throw your hands. To throw your hands, you've got to flare your elbows and do whatever. Whether you want to throw a hook or even a straight, you've got to bring your arms out. And that's what it looks like to me. And I think, actually, Nathan Gorman, he sowed the seeds to his loss here, because I think what happened was Gorman had in his head that he was going in there against a Daniel Dubois who was back in the sparring days, and I think it shocked him. I think Nathan Gorman looked like a shocked fighter to me, a fighter who was expecting the same Daniel Dubois who he potentially schooled in sparring. I think Nathan Gorman probably did get the better of sparring all them years ago. And then what happened was, when you go into a fight and you're confident and you're thinking about all the great sparring sessions you had, and then you go in there and he hits you with something and you think, oh my gosh, this wasn't what I was expecting. And people mention that about the Joshua and Ruiz fight. They say, fighters often say, when you go into a fight not expecting much and you get a bit of hard work, that's actually, that can really catch you off guard. And I think that's what's happened here, if I'm honest. I think Nathan Gorman was expecting one thing and he got another. And that's why he wasn't doing anything offensively. And it surprised me. At the end of the fight, Gorman said, oh yeah, I was in the fight, I just got caught. You weren't in the fight, you weren't doing anything. Seriously, you wasn't doing anything. And Daniel Dubois marched forward ruthlessly the whole fight, coming forward, throwing big stinging shots. Big stingers. Let's have a look at this. Look, Gorman. Look, he just doesn't throw anything. Just backs up. Big left hook again. Big look, just swinging. Very, very shabby looking. He looked very out of control. No form from Gorman. Just swinging. The whole fight, the whole fight, he looked like this as well. He looked just swinging, and that's the other thing I want to touch on. The question we can ask now: why was Gorman swinging like this for? I'll tell you why he was swinging, and it links into the whole Fury business. The reason Tyson Fury gets away with his style of jab, 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 and running around, the reason he gets away with that is because he's 6'9" tall, so he has the longer limbs. His head is further away. He's fighting from the clouds. When people try and punch him, they've got to punch up. He can see it all coming. He's got a bird's eye view, literally. Gorman, on the other hand, Gorman's a bit smaller than Dubois, so he can't. If whenever Gorman jabs, Dubois, he has the advantage. He's got that half a second to see it, or that fraction of a second to see it, and throw his own. And Gorman would have always beat Dubois would have always beat Gorman to the punch, and that's what we saw here, in my opinion. He got caught, and then that's why his offense completely shut down, and that's why Fury gets away with it, because he's so tall. And also, that's another thing I'll mention. I talked about it earlier. The footwork. Gorman hadn't. There was no footwork. There was honestly, this was a shocking performance. And as I say, I haven't spent much time looking at Gorman, but maybe you lot can tell me in the comments. Where was his footwork? Where was the slipping and sliding? There was nothing here. And Ricky Hatton actually told Gorman, hold your feet a bit and slip into the inside and get that going. He just didn't want to do anything. But as I say, it comes down to, I reckon he got hit with something and he didn't like it at all. It shocked him and it hurt him, and he thought, wow, I need to stay safe now. That's what appears to happen to me. And then he started fighting back and just being reckless. And when you look at Gorman on the pads, and I know the pads are obviously different, but when you look at Gorman on the pads, he's throwing. Let's have a look. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's have a look now, actually. When you see him on the pads, here we go. This is a perfect example. See what I mean? A lot shorter shots. I know it's easy. It's obviously a lot easier to do this when you haven't got nothing coming, but still. It's obviously a lot easier to do, as I said, when you're not got someone in front of you, but still, there was nothing. There was none of this stuff in there. None of it at all. There was no jab, no footwork. There was none of that. There was none of the slick stuff he talked about doing. And I wonder, to be honest, I really do. I wonder if, from Gorman's point of view, if this Ricky Hatton is a good idea. Ricky Hatton was never known as a slipper or a slider. Was he? Ricky Hatton was known as, I think in a way, maybe Ricky Hatton is not training Gorman wrong. I think Ricky Hatton's the type of coach who would be good with Golovkin. Straightforward, chin on his chest and banging. Unfortunately, Gorman doesn't have the power for that. He needs someone who can train him to be more like Fury. However, he's going to struggle with the Fury style, not only because he's small, but also because he has no power. And that's the other key thing I want to mention. Gorman's going to struggle at heavyweight because he just doesn't have the power, I don't think. He doesn't. And that's the thing, that's the bottom line. Fury gets away with not having power because he's so long, because he's so tall. He can just run around and fiddle around. And also, actually, that's the other thing. Gorman don't have no speed. To Fury's credit, he does have speed. He has quick feet, quick hands, and he's tall and long. Gorman, slow-ass feet, slow-ass hands, no head movement. He's just a big useless dude. Big, slow, useless, powerless dude. And that moves me on to my next point, actually. And don't worry, I hate to keep talking about Gorman, but I want to get all my thoughts out on Gorman, and then we'll move to Dubois. That's the last thing I want to talk about. So he's got slow feet, and I'm not being horrible. This is what I observed from this fight. Yeah? Whoops. That's what I observed from this fight. Slow feet, slow hands, no power, short, and also the main key thing for me is he's way too fat. I'm sorry, he's too fat. Now, Tyson Fury, does he have a Anthony Joshua kind of shape? Absolutely not. But he's not fat. He's never been fat. He's never been like this Gorman cat. You got to bear in mind as well, Fury comes in at like 270 or whatever. In fact, funnily enough, Fury actually weighed in at 249, I believe, for the Klitschko fight, and that was his best shape, 250, and he's 6'9". This Gorman cat. So Fury comes in at 270, I think now, but he's 6'9". This Gorman cat is 6'3". He's a pretty small heavyweight for these days standards. He comes in at 6'3", and he's weighing 270. And you will know all my loyal followers. You'll know that, or all my loyal people. You'll know my thoughts on weight. I can't stand it, especially fat or just too much weight's no good. I'm sorry, it's no good. It burns your energy and it makes you slower. Bottom line, when you carry fat is not propulsive. Fat will slow you down. All that fat is, you might as well grab a dumbbell and stick it on your belly. You're walking with a whole lot of weight, which slows your feet down and slows your hands down. This Gorman at 6'3", in my opinion, for Gorman to be a good heavyweight, he needs to lose 30 or 40 pounds. At 6'3", why is he 270 for? Why is he carrying 40 pounds of fat? It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And to be honest, even at 230, he's not a big muscly guy. He's all fat. What? Someone explain to me, why is he weighing 270 for? Who told him that was a good idea? All fat, and he's got no power. If you're going to, fair enough, you know what? I'd put my hands up. If Gorman was coming in and he was punching like a train, I wouldn't say nothing, but what's the point being 270 when you've got no power? You're much better off coming in 230. At least then you can try the whole speed business. Come in 220, 230 at 6'3". At least then you've got some speed. Because you ain't got power anyway. Being fat and slow ain't helped you anyway. Lose the weight, get fast. Imagine, do you know how heavy 40 pounds is? 40 pounds is 20 kilo. You pick up a 20 kilo dumbbell. Imagine taking that off. Your feet are going to be flying. Your hands are going to be flying. And in my opinion, it's just laziness. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what his trainers are doing. I'd be embarrassed putting him in the ring. And it's all well and good when you're winning, but this has proved to me it's not working, is it? And his shots were so slow. They were so slow. They had no ding on them. And that's because he's just fat and slow. He couldn't do anything. He got bullied. Look. He was desperate. Just all this fat around his back. And I'm sorry, this is not what a fighter's meant to be. They're not meant to be all fat and pudgy. Especially when it's not helping. And it's not a surprise that he can't move his feet. He's way too big, man. Way too big and fat, in my opinion. And you might sit there and say, well, Jerome Miller gets away with it. Yeah, Jerome Miller does get away with it. But to his credit, well, he's juiced, obviously, but Jerome Miller had work rate. Gorman doesn't even have work rate. He was doing nothing in there. You've got to have one or the other. If you're going to be big, you need to be powerful or have work rate. Andy Ruiz, another example. He's big, but guess what? He's got work rate. You can't be big and slow and have no power. If you're going to be big, it needs to be power or work rate. Not nothing. Otherwise, you're carrying dead weight. Anyway, that's my opinion on that. Let's have a look at what people are saying. Shout out my Don Rafi in the building. Go and check out his YouTube page. Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio says, I thought Gorman used to whoop Dubois' ass when they were both in teams. Yeah. So true, man. I said that earlier at the start of this stream. I told everyone, listen. That's what happened. That was his fall down in this fight. Gorman got too gassed about the sparring days. And Dubois, to his credit, came in and told everyone, listen, sparring. And Gorman found out the hard way. Gorman found out good and proper. He got a good and proper ass whooping. He got too gassed. Gorman got gassed off of, he was listening to Fury. Fury was saying, oh, yes, Nathan Gorman. He's going to box. Daniel Dubois' head off. He's going to box his head off. He got too gassed off it. And unfortunately, he got caught slipping. I'm telling you now, look at Gorman's eyes. He was not expecting what turned up. That's the end of it. He wasn't expecting a hard fight. And it makes me laugh, you know, how he thought he was going to put. He had no. What did he? Let's have a look at. Let's see what he did. See what I mean? Where was the head movement here? Let's have a look where the head movement was. Bang straight in, bang straight in. No head movement. Stands there. Big dig to the body. Just stands there. Big useless ass dude. Look. Big useless dude with a big left hook. That's all we see. Stands there. Where was it? Where was all the slipping and sliding? I thought this man was a slipper and slider. Did you not? I think what needs to happen is he needs to leave Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton's not, in my opinion, he's not an elusive trainer. And at 6'3", you're not tall enough to just be standing there. You've got to kind of engage that Andy Ruiz kind of style. And that's the other thing as well about Gorman. The shoulder roll. A few times on the ropes, he brought his shoulder roll out, but there was nothing there. He was getting caught clean on, square on. Very sloppy, man. And he's out. Very sloppy, too fat, too slow. No good, man. No good at all. Very not good at all. And I'm shocked, actually. Like I said, I didn't even do a preview on this fight because I wasn't that interested in it. But on hindsight, this Gorman guy is useless. I'm sorry, he really is. It was embarrassing. In fact, it makes me laugh, because there was so many people before the fight talking about, yeah, man. No, sorry. It wasn't the US people, sorry. There was so many people saying, oh, yes, Nathan Gorman, he's gonna box Daniel Dubois' head off. Yes, oh, Nathan Gorman, a true boxing man, oh, a fighting man, a good man. Yes, oh, Nathan Gorman. There was a whole load of people saying that stuff. All the gypsies were out. They were out in full force. All of a sudden now, Daniel Dubois punches this dude's legs into the air, and all of a sudden, no one's to be found. What happened to this? What happened to boxing people's head off? What happened to this? What I want to know is, someone tell me, just like Rafi said, what happened to Gorman? What happened to this dude here, beating him up in sparring? Where was all that? I was dying to know. Where was all these sparring performances gone? Gorman, come on, Gorman. Show us about the sparring sessions. Look, Dubois teeing off. Absolutely teeing off on him. There we go. Big sloppy left hook again to finish off. The guy is useless. I'm sorry, man. I hate to be disrespectful. Let me put a disclaimer as well. I'll give him his credit, like I did at the start of this video. Fair play to him. He did show a level of heart. He did come to fight, and actually, let me expand on that point. Let me say fair play to Gorman, because, in fact, let me say fair play to both of these men, because neither of these men had to actually come and do this fight. They could have both ducked it and fought some bums instead. Fair play to both of these men stepping up and actually taking this fight. I really respected that. On a serious note, I might have my criticisms about Gorman, but my criticisms of Gorman are actually to make him better. I believe whatever I'm saying is good advice, obviously. I'm not being critical just to have banter. I'm actually saying it because I think if you listen to what I'm saying, he'd be a better fighter. If he comes in 230, I can't see it getting worse. Can you? Do you think he's going to be worse if he was 230? I don't. Too fat, too slow, no power, too small. He's literally the worst of everything. In that fight, what was his game plan? What was the game plan in that fight? What did he do well? He did nothing well. In fact, I tell a lie. He did one thing well. He got his heavy bag training on. He got his heavy bag training in. Daniel Dubois had a good heavy bag session that night. He had some really realistic heavy bag session. Look, teeing off, big looping left hook. Look, just slapping, man. Very shoddy. Very shoddy work. Look, he's jumping in and gets stuck in. It was a good fight, though, to be fair. They both got stuck in. He got stuck in. But anyway, let's talk about Daniel Dubois. Let's talk about Triple D Spot now. Because I was very impressed with Triple D Spot. Ruthless. And actually, I've been critical of Triple D Spot. In the past, I've said things like, yeah, he's a bit stiff and he's a bit boring. But actually, I rate him. This dude is a cool, calm, collected killer. I wasn't sure whether he had it upstairs. I wasn't very sure. But after this fight, I was really impressed. It was lovely to see him. After he punched Gorman's feet into the air, he went straight over to Gorman and touched him. And after all that stuff Gorman was talking, he would have been well within his rights to say, you know what, I don't need to rant with that dude. But he didn't. He went straight over there and said, good fight. I really respected that. It was really nice to see. Very respectful, Dubois. He's really gone up in my estimations. Really have. He's a cool, collected killer. He didn't fold under the lights. There was a lot of pressure against him. Fury was against him. He went in there and did the business. Didn't mess about. Big stinging jab. Very good stuff. And actually, I said he was a bit robotic, but he gets it done. He's got work. He's got a good bit of work rate. He's got a good 1-2 that keeps going. Very good. He came. I think he was in the ring at 240 pounds. A good weight, not too heavy. AJ needs to take a few leaves out of his book, and I won't talk about that now. I'll talk about that a bit later. Let me look at my notes and see what else I wanted to say. Yeah, both Gorman and Dubois came to fight. Dubois, good engine and pressure. Yeah, let's talk about it now. So, my note there we just saw. Dubois was pushing forward the whole night. In fact, let me get the full fight up instead. Dubois was pushing forward all night, man. Very good pressure and work rate. Constantly, the jab was constantly going. The 1-2 was constantly going. And the few opportunities he had on the inside, his hands were going. The jab was stiff as well. Very stiff jab. I want to show you the pressure. So whenever they start off, and look, he's constantly moving forward, cutting the ring off. Big jab going, bang right hand. He never stopped coming forward. Always looking to attack. So yeah, I've got to give him credit for that. He didn't run out of gas as well, and that's a good point. In the third, I think in the second round or third round, when he put Gorman down the first time, people were saying, I think the commentator said, "Oh yeah, well, Gorman might be waiting for Dubois to get tired." Yeah, Dubois giving out a good lot, or Dubois might have punched himself out, and that in that round there was a good bit of volume. Let me try and find it. But guess what? Dubois didn't run out of gas, and I'm thinking to myself, how is it? How is it? Here it is. Let's watch this quickly. Let me speed it up. Actually, watch it in slow motion. So this is it. This is the first knockdown. I want to see the work rate and apply it, because when AJ fights Ruiz, AJ has about a good 5 punches and he's blowing. How is that possible? So there's 2, 3. And by the way, I've slowed this down so it looks slow, but it's not slow when you speed it up. So Dubois just put a whole load of work in, yeah? Here we go. They're back scrapping again. Now they're back to it. And you don't see Dubois blowing here. He's got his hands high still. Steps in with a jab. Another jab. Big right hand. And they're swinging. They're swinging now in the pocket. And when you start swinging like that, it is tiring. Proper loading up, any. Dubois proper loading up. All of both of them, man. This was lovely to see. I got to be honest. I had shivers down my spine during this fight. If I'm honest. When they started getting stuck in like this, dig to the body, big dig. So anyway, my point is, on this fight, we see this is in the third round. There was 2 more rounds of this fight. Someone asked me, in fact, funnily enough, this was in the same round AJ put Ruiz down. AJ put Ruiz down, and people were telling me, "Oh well, he got tired because he put Ruiz down." What are you talking about? This is what you train for, you muppets. You shouldn't be getting tired after one damn combination or one exchange. You shouldn't be getting tired. That's what you train for. I'm sorry, McCrackhead. You ain't doing the right training. Oh, well, AJ got tired because it was round 3 and the exchange got him tired. It's one bleeding exchange. Get training properly. That's what's wrong. Let me tell you what's wrong. The training ain't right. If you're running out of gas in the third round after one damn exchange, after not doing anything for the first 2 rounds. Yeah? Let's get it. Let's make sure everyone's on the same damn hymn sheet here. He got tired because he weren't trained properly. Dubois is trained properly. That's why you don't see him with his hands by his ankles blowing. He was coming forward the whole damn night, throwing combinations and getting stuck in. No excuse. Anyway, that's my next point covered. The pressure. Both of them two men at this point are blowing because they've just had an exchange. But still, look, the 1-2, 3. Follows it up. Back in there. Back on it. No messing about from Dubois. Anyway, see what the next point is. Gorman got shut down by the power. No jab. Only roll with left hook. Yeah, I've covered that. Yeah, Gorman, listen, Gorman didn't have anything. Gorman didn't have a damn thing apart from some wide-ass left hook. Gorman too heavy. Covered that. Respect to Dubois for coming straight over. Covered that. Gorman talks about slip and sliding, but nothing of the sort. What did he actually do? Answered that. Nothing. No power. Fat arms. No head movement. No slickness. No shoulder roll. Wild. Wide shots. Compare it to the media workout. Yeah, well, I've done that as well. There weren't squat going on, and the confidence. I think I pretty much covered everything here. He was very confident, just like Rafi said. My man was very confident before our money. Very confident about all the sparring he's been in there with. And I was shocked to see it. There was none of it. Bearing in mind, and that's why I didn't actually do a preview on this video, but I'm glad I didn't now because I'm not sure which way I would have gone. I thought this was a 50-50 fight. I really did. I thought this was a 50-50 fight. No word of a lie. I was on the fence on this one. And that's because because I hadn't actually watched Gorman, I had it in my head. All the Fury fans had talked Gorman up to be a reincarnation of Fury, but he weren't. Nothing of the sort, man. Useless. Big, slow, useless dude. I want to speed it up. Just stands there, doesn't he, Gorman? No footwork, no nothing. Yeah, just stand. Big heavy bag, man. Big juicy heavy bag. Big juicy heavy bag that wants to talk about sparring all the time. Where was this? Okay, look, on a serious note, yeah, because I'm confused. He kept talking about sparring sessions, yeah. In them sparring sessions, was he actually throwing any shots? I'm not sure, because the way it seems to me, he ranted and raving about the sparring. But then in the fight, what's he doing here? When was the last time he threw a shot? Okay, well, there's a jab there. Nothing. He just don't want to do anything, does he? And I think the reason Dubois is so hesitant is because he's expecting to get timed and countered, but Gorman ain't doing anything. Yeah, man, useless, man. All he throws is the same shot, the lead left hook. There it is again. He just loves it, doesn't he? He fell in love with the lead left hook. It almost feels like Gorman was hitting Dubois with that lead left hook in sparring, and that's why he's so keen on throwing it. Why was there no jab? Why was there no jab? And I actually think I know the answer. Let me show you the answer why there was no jab. Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton was known as a hooker. He'd literally, most people, when they want to get in range, they'll jab and left hook off the jab. Jab, left hook. Hatton used to just jump in with left hooks and it's like that. Like Nassim Hamed. Just jump in with stuff. I think that's what's going on here, because they never really work the jab. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's too big, man. Too big and slow. No good. Problem, not having power and trying to pull a Fury when small. No power, fat and slow. Man, that's it. Now let's talk about, before I finish the video, let's talk about how this applies to Anthony Joshua. Because this dude, Dubois, came in the ring at 240. Now, he does look a bit stiff. However, his gas tank was on point the whole fight. The whole fight, I know it wasn't that long, but still 5 rounds. In 5 rounds, AJ was blowing. He was, in fact, not in 5 rounds. After one exchange, AJ was finished in the 3rd round. Let's get it right. Let's get it straight. AJ did nothing from the 3rd round to the 7th round. In 7 rounds, he didn't throw anything offensively. He was gassed. Why is that? Why is it? And people can sit there and say, I've never been hit in the temple. I don't know if being hit in the temple can completely drain your gas tank for 4 rounds. However, what I can talk about is historically. Historically, I've never seen a fighter get hit in the temple and all of a sudden their world-class gas tank disappears. No. What happens is when you go into a fight and you've been chilling with a load of football and tennis sports scientists that tell you all this cross-training rubbish can get you fit for boxing, that's what it looked like to me. It looked like, in fact, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let me get this up now whilst I'm here. I'm going to do a video on it anyway, but let me show you the people in AJ's team. I'm sure. Let me just show you it. I'm going to do a video on this anyway, but I want to show you people what we're dealing with here, because people think I'm joking. Look, here we go. I'm so glad. Here we go. Look, packing a punch. Meet Anthony Joshua's 23-man entourage, including football agent, ex-boxer security guard, and actor pal who starred along Judi Dench. So we see him here. Look, AJ's picture. Yeah? The British fighter posed for a photograph with his team after he was dethroned by Andy Ruiz in one of the biggest shocks in boxing history. So I want you guys to remember all the things YB's been saying over this time. And a lot of you have been saying, oh, YB, you don't know what you're talking about training. Yeah, AJ's got the best team. Yeah, AJ Sports Science. Yeah, AJ, yeah, AJ's in Sheffield. AJ's in SIS. Yeah, AJ's at English Institute of Sport. This is what AJ's with, yeah? Jamie Reynolds, strength and condition coach that has previously worked with the likes of Troy Deeney and Eden Hazard, 2 football players. Yeah? Let's get it straight. These 2 are football players. What's he doing working with football coaches for? Seriously. Can someone explain? I don't get it. That's why he's running out of gas after 3 rounds. I'm telling you now. And that's why Daniel Dubois, who works at the I forgot the name, but he works at a proper boxing gym. Yeah? And that's why he ain't running out of gas. He's in there throwing shots, getting caught in exchanges, and throwing back. Not running out of gas after 3 rounds, after 1 damn exchange. Because he ain't working with football fucking players. Bottom line. Let's see what other idiots we've got on here. Rob Madden. Here we go, you ready? Strength and conditioning specialist and well-known personal trainer. Come on, these dudes, these guys are Instagram trainers, yeah? Well-known personal trainer. Boxing trainers aren't well-known. They're boxing trainers. Do you get that? Well-known Instagram for the stars. Oh, Rob Madden, strength and conditioning specialist, and well-known. Let's have. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's look at Rob Madden. Here we go. Look. Yeah, look. This is the one. Look, we found him. We found him. So he's in AJ's team. Yeah. Performance coach in Formula One. So he's got a Formula One specialist as well. Wicked. Excellent stuff. So what have we got so far? So we got a football coach. Yeah. Let's see what we got. A football coach. An F1 coach. Let's see who else we've got next. Coming up. You ready? Mark Ellinson, nutritionist that works with Manchester United and GB Boxing. Well, what do we know about Mark Ellinson? Mark Ellinson put AJ in the ring. All this nutritionist, where was that when he was weighing in at 247? Where was it? Nowhere to be seen. That's where it was. Cena, Gammy, strength and rehabilitation coach and gym owner. Where's the tennis player? Listen, this is the bottom line. You've seen it for yourself now anyway. He's got a 30-man entourage and they're all full of football players and tennis players. That's why he's running out of gas in the third round. That's the bottom line as well. You can take AJ fans can take it how they want. That's why your dude's running out of gas and Daniel Dubois Right. Why is it he can stand there and move forward and not run out of gas after 3 rounds? That's what I want to know. I'm dying to know it. I just don't get it myself. I really don't. And I'm going to be really sad if in this next fight I see AJ blowing. I am. I'm sorry. I'm gonna hit the bleeding roof, and there'll be absolutely no mercy if he's blowing in this fight. I'm gonna go absolutely mad if I see him tired. There's no excuse for that now. I'm sorry. There's no excuse. He's sitting there talking about how great McCracken is. Okay, then you've made your bed now. Make sure it is good. Because if you're running out of gas, there'll be no sympathy over this side. There'll be no this that. It'll be pure ruthlessness from the YOB, because I'm not impressed. I'm really not. Other fighters can seem to be able to come in and not run out of gas and maintain their weight. Daniel Dubois is as tall as AJ, but he's not carrying another 10 pounds of dead weight. And I think AJ's much more talented than Daniel Dubois as well. I think his inside fighting's much better. He's got better hooks, better uppercuts. In fact, he's pretty much better all over. But as I've said before, being better technically, being better, or being more physically gifted, having better technique, it's all irrelevant if you run out of gas. You can be you can have as much power, you can have as much speed, you can have as much IQ, you can have as much technique, but if all them aspects there don't have the oxygen, they're as good as useless. And that's why it's so important to get the conditioning right. But he seems to be confident, so I just hope he is. I really am. I really do hope he's confident on it. And I guess let's have a look at the I'm trying to think of the other fights. Yeah, the Klitschko fight, he ran out of gas as well after one exchange, didn't he? Yeah, he did. I'm sorry. It's not looking good, guys. It's really not. The Klitschko fight, he had one exchange in the 4th round against Klitschko, and he was finished after 1 round of exchanges. Finished. And the first 4 rounds of the fight, there was absolutely nothing going on. It wasn't like they had a hard 4-round fight, and in the 5th round, it wasn't like they had a hard 4-round fight, and then the 5th round, he got stuck in and got tired. It was the first 4 rounds against Klitschko, there was nothing going on. Absolutely nothing going on. And his lid fell off after the 5th round. That to me smells like there's some fundamental problems going on in training. But he seems to be confident. So let's cross our fingers and hope and pray to the conditioning gods. Your boy YB's in the chat. Let's see what's going on here. Ross B. All these guys were doing nothing for AJ, but were probably taking a massive paycheck and taking advantage of AJ. Yeah, of course they were taking a paycheck. Of course they were. They was all over the paycheck. Avalon. Gorman should have been in. Bop, then out. Andre Ward style. Yeah, but his feet are too slow. He's no good. NW Londoner. missing a netball coach. Seriously, bro. I'm not no word of a lie. See, he's got a football coach, a F1 coach, a netball coach, a tennis coach, and still, listen, I haven't got a problem with having all these different coaches. I really haven't. I've got no problem with people having a load of these random coaches, but don't be coming in the ring and getting tired and getting gassed. Monique Thompson in the building. What's going on? Mark Hodson. Hit the Lizard button, y'all. How we got 138 people in the building and only 49 looks and only 49 likes. Hit the Lizard button. Colby McDonald. No more fake Fury sparring, bro. Fake Fury sparring. That there is official footage from my exclusive sources. Exclusives. Don't be hating the exclusive sources, bro. Vizio, hit that Lizard button, damn it. What's been going on then, people? What's people been doing this weekend? Christopher Tolliver, too much muscle. Who Dubois or AJ has too much muscle? I don't think having muscle is a problem, to be honest. I think as long as you've conditioned it, it's fine. As an example, let me think of a good example. To be fair, Dubois hasn't actually had a proper fight yet. We haven't actually seen him hit and hurt, so it's difficult to say. We haven't seen him actually had it put on him yet, so it's easy for us to say actually about AJ. But Ruiz was sticking it on him. Let's see how Dubois deals with Ruiz or someone like that who sticks it on you and throws something back. Anthony Willis, good call, YB. That could be AJ's issues with conditioning. I'm telling you, man. Raphael Dawkins, Peacock's Boxing Gym. Yeah, that's it. I forgot what it was. Chad M, more conditioning work for AJ. Now, let me have a look. I don't even think it's necessarily more conditioning. Oh, I'll tell you what we'll do now. That's another great idea. Let me show you this. I don't think it's more. It's not. More's not needed. It's what he's doing. Yeah. Let's have a look at this quickly. I'm going to do a video on this in its own right, but I want to show you now, just so we can look. Just what I want you to look at. Look at the frequency. Watch the frequency here, yeah? Here we go. One jab, rest. One right hand. One jab, steps off. It's all singles. I'm sorry. He's learning how to throw singles, and I said this the other day. In training, you have to do more. If you want to throw 4-punch combinations, you need to be throwing 7-punch combinations in training. Does that make sense? You can't in the gym throw ones and then expect to be throwing a whole load of stuff. And look, you'll always see that's another thing with McCracken. Watch McCracken. You'll always see him step off and walk away. Watch this. Watch. Look, what's he walking over there for? Get some repetitions in, man. Watch, look, he walk over here. What are you walking over there for? Get it going. Get some momentum going. It's meant to be a workout, not a talking session. And I know this isn't a good example because, well, I don't know. We don't get to see every session, of course, no. But for me, there's too much. throwing big singles. That's why his jab ain't developed. You need to be tripling it up and actually conditioning it. You can't develop a great jab throwing a few singles. It's got to be. You've got to get to the point of muscular fatigue, and I don't think throwing a jab every few seconds can get you to that point as a professional athlete. And besides, the proof's in the pudding. Look at the Joshua vs. Ruiz fight. His jab was slow and boring. There was no sting on it. It looked like a jab which hadn't been trained to me. And you've got to bear in mind, AJ's allegedly in the gym year round. We should be seeing 5 years down the line, bearing in mind, he has all the genetics. We should be seeing something amazing now. Instead, he looks pretty similar as he did 7 years ago. Big single. Big single. What's this, Singles Day or something? Big single. Look at all the rest they're having. Look at the rest. Let's appreciate that for a second. What's it? One jab every 5 seconds, it looks like. I don't know, man. This is my opinion. I just don't think it's good enough, man. I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't think you can. I don't think you can train like this. I don't think this is actually training. This looks to me like I'm not sure what's all the rest for. What's he resting for? Huh? You throwing singles? I just don't get it. I really don't. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe this is how you can get conditioned. It's not in my world. It's not, but maybe it is. I don't know. Vizio, funny, but in all AJ's early fights, he threw a lot of punches and never gassed. Exactly, 100%. And I think the reason that is people are critical of Tony Sims, but AJ was with Tony Sims, and I agree. In his early fights, funnily enough, guess what? In the Dylan White fight, he was under Tony Sims. And what do we know now? In this latest fight against what's his name, Ruiz, Tony Sims was nowhere to be found. Absolutely nowhere to be seen. Tony Sims wasn't there. And I think he's not training with Tony Sims anymore. I never see Tony Sims works out of the UK Matchroom gym. So, Tony Sims works out of the Matchroom gym, and AJ's never there anymore, or at least I don't see him there, publicly speaking. So I think you're right, and I think that's the reason why. Avalon, no sleep for a week from concussion gasses you out. Yeah, you might be on something there, but even then, AJ hasn't told us nothing, so I'm not sure what to think on that note. Daniel Davies, I have no faith on AJ's cardio. We'll see soon. Yeah, man, that's all we can do, and that's why I do these videos, because I'm hoping and praying. Whilst I've never confessed to know it all, like I said before, my weakness in boxing terms, I'm not so good on strategy. I'm not great at seeing what the holes are. I feel what I'm good at is knowing about conditioning and form. I know when things look good. I know how to get fit in most sports. I feel anyway. Strategy and tactics. I'd never tell someone what to do and whatnot. I would never know how to break down a fighter or say to someone, "Oh, you need to do this. You need to do that." I haven't got an eye for that sort of stuff, but the basic conditioning is not rocket science. But anyway, let's see what he does. He's got all these expensive trainers that allegedly know what they're doing. Andre Van Ewan. All AJ is doing is job creation with all the goons working for him. John Smith. Don't think it's simply conditioning with AJ. He needs different tactics. A trainer who can open him up. Yeah, I agree, bruv. I agree, but outside of that, the reason I talk about conditioning so much is because when your conditioning fails, you're finished. I'd rather have an AJ in there that has conditioning than not. Meaning, of course, a better training would be good as well, but we're not going to get that. Does that make sense? I'd rather just get the basic. Hopefully, maybe you can just get that right. If we can get an AJ who can go in there knowing he's got 12 rounds at least instead of 3, at least we stand a chance then. Because the fact of the matter is, if AJ runs out of gas in the 3rd round, that's it. He's done. Because Ruiz ain't going to get tired. I don't believe. I really don't. Toldo, 1965. More shadow boxing, less weights. The breath will come. I agree. Pressured shadow boxing. Let me show you actually. Let me show you the shadow boxing I think AJ should be doing. Because when you see Mike Tyson shadow boxing, you'll see him throwing like, yeah, look, you see this. Well, you can look at it on your own computer because you probably can't see much here, but look at the way Tyson shadow boxes. You'll see him throwing like 8, 9, 12 punch combinations. That's how you got to do it, because that's how you actually get your heart rate up. When AJ does his shadow boxing, you'll see him throwing like 1s and 2s, and it's all just slow, boring ass stuff that's not going to get your heart rate up. And yes, Mike Tyson is smaller, but still the principles remain the same. And to be fair to Tyson admittedly didn't have a great cardiovascular system. He said his heart and his lungs weren't that good, but still, look at his fights. He was able, in his prime, he was able to go 12 rounds. Look at his shadow boxing. He's throwing like 30 punch combinations here, and he's got look at that. He's pivoting and throwing. He's doing about 50 punch combo. That's how you get fit in boxing. Look at that craziness. 50 punch combo. Now AJ is taller, but still, this is the stuff you should be doing to get fit. Not when compare it. Let's compare it now. What? Look, see the difference. Look. He hasn't even thrown a punch yet. 1, yeah, 1, 2. Another 20 seconds go by. Look, this is you ain't gonna get fit doing this. By the way, throwing 2 punches every minute. There's a bit more there, to be fair. Too much walking off. In my opinion, too much walking off and setting yourself. You need to be. In my experience, it's hard to get your heart rate up. Look, he spent about half of. Look, watch this. Watch. Watch this. Watch. Where are them combos gone? So he throws a 3 there, yeah. Another 3. Now watch this. So from 50 seconds, yeah. Watch what he does now. So he's just done about 15 seconds of work. There we go. So he did 15 seconds of work here, at most. Let's actually see how much it was actually. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so he went from about 45. So he goes from 45 to about 50. Yeah? 5 seconds of work. Now look how long he takes to recover from that. Walking off. In a fight, you're never going to get the luxury of being able to throw a few combos and just walk off and recover. This is what's not happening in his training, in my opinion. He spends the next 20 seconds just recovering and walking off. You don't get fit that way. You get fit When you get tired, that's when you got to throw more. You can't be training and spending half the time recovering. This is what I believe is going on. He's shadow boxing, throwing a few shots and then recovering again. In a fight, it's not good enough, in my opinion. But what do I know? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am. Maybe all these tennis coaches know better. PT Jacob in the building. AJ needs to add George Foreman. I don't think it will hurt. I think after we've seen the amount of people he's got on his team, I've just showed you there, 30 people. Would it hurt to add someone like George Foreman? Out of all the people we've just seen in there, yeah. After all these people in there, would it really hurt having 40 people in your team? Would it hurt to have one legend in there? Would it hurt to have one person in there that actually knows what they're doing? Look at all these people. None of them know what they're doing. Look at the name list. Are any of these people all-time boxing dons? Are they? Are any of these people all-time, or in fact, name me any of these people who have a real history in boxing? None of them. The best one is a coach, Rob McCrappen, who's arguably no good. That's the best guy on his team. It's embarrassing, man. You got 30 Klingons, 30 wannabes. Very embarrassing. Not good enough, in my opinion. Davey L in the building. Salute, salute, salute. General. Now, I'm not talking about George Foreman in terms of training. I'm talking about George Foreman in terms of the psychological aspect of boxing. Kamal Daly, true that. Some boxers amp up when the camera's on them when training. AJ might have had intense off-camera training. Yeah, bro, but this is what always happens. People always say, oh yeah, he coulda, shoulda, woulda. He might have had this, he might have had that. Yeah, but the bottom line is, the facts of the matter are, he got in the ring and he ran out of gas. So what makes more sense to me is, this sort of training is probably what's going on all the time. Does that make sense? What are the chances that every time we see an AJ training video, I'm making the same comments, i.e. there's not enough volume on there? Is it pure, oh well, he's doing it off camera? Well, if he's doing it off camera, why is it in the Klitschko fight he ran out of gas after 4 rounds? Why is it in the Ruiz fight he ran out of gas in the 4 rounds? It's not a coincidence. And I've said it before. AJ's has got great genetics. And what that means is when you've got great genetics, or a powerful genetics and explosive genetics, there's no excuse to be running out of gas, because if you're conditioned right, you will not be tired after 5 rounds. You won't be, if you're conditioned right. If you've trained your body right, you will not be. That's the science of the situation. Now, if you've got tennis trainers and netball trainers and all these different type of weird ass people who don't know what they're doing, then you will be tired. That's it. But then again, if AJ can't see that, that's his business. If he wants to believe in that, if he doesn't want to question, wait there a minute, why is it I've been training for 10 years and I'm still getting tired after 4 rounds? When there's other people, even look at Wilder. Wilder throws big, heavy shots. He loads up a lot. But you don't really... Yes, he gets tired, but you don't see his wheels completely falling off. Yes, he's smaller, but once again, my point is, This isn't about size. This is about, are you fit or are you not fit? A 300-pound man can be fit. Take Jarrell Pig Baby Miller, for example. Now, he's juiced, but okay, get rid of Miller then. If you don't want to use Miller, use Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, he's a 270-pound man. He proves that you can be heavy and fit. It's whether or not you are trained properly. Bottom line, Ruiz trained properly. Joshua had something lacking there. Because Ruiz got hit with the same shot that Joshua did. But Ruiz wasn't blowing as well. Anyway, I've talked about this enough. I'm going to keep it moving, people. Appreciate everyone for watching. I'll catch you, man, on the next one. Hit the like button on your way out. Big man ting. Keep it locked. And your boy will be back.